Hello, my name is Darkmoon Doll, and today on Art Talk, I'm going to just give you an update on what I've been up to. Update on what I've been up to. Yeah, like I told you in the last video of Art Talk last week, I don't want to do any new things. I want to just continue to finish up projects that I've started, being that it's still, Mercury is still in retrograde. And it will be in retrograde until, I believe, May 4th. So with Mercury in retrograde, the advice that is given is to not start on new projects, to finish up projects you've already started. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to show you these really cool beads I've been working on for a while. And this was before Mercury retrograde, so it counts. But basically these beads are fabric beads, and they were created using painted fabric. I had these jeans that I painted, and I cut them up to fashion them into a handbag. And the scraps of fabric that are left, I was able to make beads from, these fabric beads. So if you want to check out my fabric bead tutorials, you can go right ahead on this channel. I have one. I can do an up-to-date one specifically on painted fabric made into fabric beads. But that's one of them. Here's another one that's more heavily painted. And you can see that it looks kind of like leather because how thickly coated the paint is on there. So the thicker you apply the paint onto the bead, get a little fuzz on it, quicker, the more paint you put on the bead, the more it's going to have that kind of texture like leather, which is kind of cool. And this bead in itself is big enough to use as a dreadlock bead if you wanted to, if you have dreadlocks, or if you braid your hair and like putting like a bead on the end. So these are kind of cool because I wouldn't mind having them on a bigger scale, like for like a dread, like for my dreads, because I have thick ones. I got some small skinny ones too, but I've got a lot of thick ones, so it'd be cool to make one that looks like leather, but it's not leather. So yeah, basically, just to tell you about it, you can check out the tutorial on how to make these fabric beads, but basically all I do to make fabric beads is I wrap a scrap of fabric, typically a long like rectangle shape, a fabric around a pen, a pencil, a Sharpie, sometimes a toothpick, depending on how big I want the hole to be. Because if you want the hole bigger, then you want to use something that has a circumference of the size of bead hole that you want. So, and you can use these for jewelry purposes too. So yeah, I like this one a lot. And you see how it's attached. You see that stitching down there. When you wrap the fabric around the pencil, whatever you're going to use, you pretty much are putting a stitch down there on the side, and that keeps it together. But you got to make sure with these beads that you go over them over and over again to make sure that they're secure. If not, they will unravel. Or if you don't get it secure enough on the tops here, what will happen is the hole will close up. So you got to make sure you do it extra tight. So yeah, those are these beads here. You can also get even more adventurous and put symbols on, paint symbols on there, things that mean something to you. This is straight a little bit different from the beads I just showed you. This one isn't painted. Well, that's the only one I have. But this one isn't painted, but it's just fabric. It was a sweater that was given to me, and I didn't really like the sweater, so I saved it, the scrap, put it into scraps like for fabric to use for miscellaneous projects. And this makes a really cool bead, fabric bead. So one of these days I'm going to get some beads, like glass beads, so that I can further adorn these fabric beads. I need to do that. Not need to do that, I want to do that, because I think that it'll add a little bit more excitement to the beads. Excitement. It'll add a little more fun to the beads is all. I like them like this too. And these can be used for dreadlock beads too as well. So yeah, these are all the beads that I'm working on here. I've got other projects that I work on too during the week, but the big projects probably take more time to like dry because they're paint projects to commission pieces that I'm working on. But while those are drying, I like to make beads. These fabric beads. So yeah. Thank you for joining me today for today's show of Art Talk. I hope that this encourages you to just be creative. Find the things that are in your home that can be recycled and see if you can create something with it. I mean, those old sweaters, those t-shirts, what have you, turn them into something creative. You could turn them into some fabric beads like these. Yep. Alrighty guys, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for the likes and shares, and thank you for your kind comments. Leave your comments down below if you've ever had experience making beads like these. Fabric beads where it's painted a little bit on there. I had to be honest with you, this is my favorite one, the one that looks kind of like leather. I like that. But it's all good and fun, and you know what? It's good for you. It's therapeutic. It helps you. If you have a problem with anger management, this is the perfect thing for you. It just gets you focused in on one thing, and then whatever it is you were extremely angry about, you start to work through it. So, yeah. Alrighty guys, I will see you soon. Peace.